Panel member will ask each candidate 2 questions in a rotation. Panelists, you'll have 30 seconds to ask the question. Candidates, you will have 1.5 minutes to issue your response. Candidates also, you will not be allowed to respond directly to another candidate's statements about you. So if somebody says something you don't like, you don't get to just jump up and intervene, but you can take time when it comes back to you next time to address whatever was said. All right? Everybody good? We're going to play fair? Have fun. All right. Let's start with Mr. Williams right here with Mr. Baldwin.
You need to ask the industry questions.
Oh, yes. I do need to ask the industry question. My apologies. This is a question from Wolf Creek on behalf of the local golf industry. It is a question for each of the 7 candidates tonight. And again, Wolf Creek gracious enough to host us, so they get a question here. With the current budget concerns the city has at this time, it is important to evaluate how each policy decision affects the local business and tourism. The loss of any business would have not only a huge impact on tax revenues, but also the lifestyle we enjoy as residents of Mesquite. Imagine, for example, the trickle-down effect of the closure of a single golf course. There would be a drop in value of the homes on the course, the loss of jobs, less hotel guests, less restaurant traffic, and a severe blow to tourism in Mesquite. With the Virgin Valley Water District talking about severely raising water share rates in 2019 with some of the local golf courses that could possibly put their business in financial jeopardy, or any public utility wanting to raise rates for businesses that could harm them financially, what ideas or plans do you have to help the local golf courses and businesses in these situations, and what will you do to help them survive and thrive in Mesquite? Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you very much. The one thing I want the public to understand is that the City Council has no impact or say in water district policy. The last elections, it was decided at the legislative level to remove the representation, the appointed representation from Bunkerville and the city of Mesquite to that water board, so that's purely elected. So the only thing that the City Council can do is make sure that there's a favorable business climate, both in license fees and general business climate here, because we don't need to lose any businesses, as well as we need to help golf courses, we need to help the casinos, we have to help every restaurant prosper in this town. And so it's very important that we set that. But the one thing the city does have that does impact the water, or the golf courses, is affluent water from the wastewater treatment plant. So that is also available to the golf courses to use for their irrigation. So there's a second source with some control. And as of right now, the city has an excess of affluent water that they can use. So just want to make sure everyone understands it's a secondary, water is a secondary on the city because we don't have any direct control. Thank you.
For once, I do agree with David. One of the things that you talk about golf and revenue and stuff, one of the things that I was back in the UK last year and went to Thomas Cook, who is the biggest travel agent in Europe, even have their own aircraft that fly into Vegas once or twice a week. And I went and I said, what do you know about Mesquite? And they go, oh, Texas? Oh, we know a lot about that. No, Mesquite, Nevada. And as you know, Europe is loaded with golfers. And they didn't even know about us. And that could be a huge resource for the city of Mesquite. To have all the, if they go to Vegas, who wants to stay in Vegas? Come up to Mesquite. Our restaurants are cheaper, by far. Our hotels are great. We have a very low crime rate here. Everybody sees on the news now, there's shootings every day down there. What an ideal place for us to have golfers come here. Great golf courses, great community, and I would like to see, I know the City Council can't do it, but maybe the Chamber of Commerce can reach out to Thomas Cook and get some people here. They'd love to come here. With Zion National Park up the road for the families, this is an ideal place. Thank you.
Well, I think that Dave really said it best in a lot of ways. We're not the water district, and I don't want them to go up on water rates either, because I don't want my water bill to go up. And as far as businesses go, we're speaking specifically about golf courses. Of course, we look at water rates. But businesses come and go in the town, and of course, we hate any business to leave. Recently, we've had a couple of businesses leave, and it wasn't because the business was bad. These people were ready to retire. And so that didn't have anything to do with whether they were doing well or not. Specifically talking about the water rates, we do have effluent, but I believe that I don't know if it's able to pipe all the way up here. What we can do is just keep supporting all businesses as best we can, keep our rates affordable, although we have to charge enough to make sure that Mesquite, we can pay our bills and pay our, the salaries of our employees, etc. So I think what we have to remember is that City Council has very little to do with what happens at the Virgin Valley Water District.
And I concur with David and Cindy. The council is not the water district. We can kind of make sure and direct them, especially when it comes to our affluent water. We do have some of that, but it's not like abundant. So we do have to watch them, and so we take care of our businesses and maintain them, and if we can help them any way to stay in business, we can do that. Anything that we can do to help them stay in business and direct them and guide them so that they don't have to leave town would be awesome. But we are not the water district on that, and so I stand, we can direct them, we can guide them, and we can watch them, but we do not have a say at the water district. Okay.
We do have, there's something we can do. First of all, I agree with the commentary that led into this question. Golf is an incredibly important feature in this town, and it's absolutely correct. One goes down, it's a compounding effect between the golf course residents, the vacated land, the eyesore, the tax revenue, whether it's property tax, employment, sales tax, it impacts the city. I don't want to see any golf course fail. It's true that we don't control the water board. However, we do have affluent water. Many of the golf courses rely solely on affluent water. Wolf Creek, and specifically, I get it. It's an economic decision. They're paying a low rate at the water district for their shares. I think it's 11 cents a thousand gallons. Affluent water is like 24 cents a thousand for affluent water. When the price at the water district goes beyond 24 cents a gallon, they will connect, and we will provide affluent water, which we have an abundance of in the winter. The summer months are problematic. Then they would be, like all of the other golf courses, would be stuck with the water district's service. So to the extent that we can keep our affluent water at a fair rate and balanced from all of the properties, all of the golf course properties, I think we can make this work where everybody survives.
Growing up, I was always, because of my last name at the back of the class. Tonight, I'm really thankful for that. I represent a little bit of a different voice from my fellow candidates and the working class. We look at, it wasn't too long ago that Mesquite was touted as the fastest growing city in the state and even one of the fastest growing in the nation. What's different now? And when I look at that and when I really ponder that, I see it's the success of the working class. For businesses like Wolf Creek and any of our other businesses, those are going to be driven by a strong working class. That's going to be more tax revenue, more amenities, more retail shops, more stores, more restaurants available. So when we get to the issue of water, we're very lucky here in Mesquite. We have available water. We're not facing some of the issues like they are in places like California that are rationing water and letting lawns die. I grew up in St. George. I saw the Green Valley Golf Course fold and die, and I watched exactly what that question was. The property values plummet. That area was a slum for many years. So we're going to do everything to keep that from happening to all our beautiful golf courses and all our beautiful amenities here in Mesquite.
Well,
I kind of agree with George on this because I'm very close to the golf industry. We do not have an abundance of water for most of the year. The affluent water, we run out of. We're fighting every minute to get enough affluent water to keep the golf courses watered. So, but we do have quite an abundance of water in the winter because we don't water nearly as much. I think the answer to this, and they're right in regards to that the council doesn't control the water, that particular water, but I think we have a big influence on it. I think the answer to that is there's some ways in the winter that we can stockpile some of that water, whether we use that and lease. I hate the word selling it down the river because I don't want to sell any of our water down the river ever. But leasing it to leasing it down to the Southern Valley Water Authority in the winter, see, they can use it all year. They can stockpile it and then use it in the summer. So there's some things that we can do to make that work, where they use some of our affluent and they take our affluent and pay for it, and then we bring all of it back in the summer, and I think that's where we need to go.